Welcome to Espresso Yourself, the podcast where mom life, running life, and teaching life collide.
We're three women juggling lesson plans, long runs, and real life chaos, sharing honest conversations about motherhood, miles, and making a difference in and out of the classroom.
Whether you're listening on a run, in the carpool line, or hiding out with your coffee, you're in the right place.
So lace up,
Tune in,
And let's do life together.
welcome back to Espresso Yourself. Last week, we had a lot to unload and unpack as we were on a 3-week break. And I know it was a bit longer of an episode, and I know we did not even touch on probably half of the things that we could have updated each other on. And then this week, we will catch up. Even though it's been just a short week, I already know that I have a lot that's happened this week, as do the girls, I am sure, because as teachers and runners and moms, our life is never dull. So I just got back from the baseball fields. Baseball is in full season for me, and I know that that's slowing down for Becky. But my season is starting to ramp up, and the weather is trying to get warmer. We were just talking weather before we got on, how we're having some warmer days, but then also those weird cold fronts. And Katie, you were talking about cold fronts coming your way. So all the things that life throws at us.
So I just want to give a shout out. I know it's been probably like 2 months since we've had him on, but Alex with Catch Up to Cancer this morning, which really it was more like way earlier. We were probably all still sleeping, but he completed and finished the London Marathon today. So super exciting for him. Congratulations to him. Um, I was trying to see like what his time was and, like his finishing, but he hasn't posted anything as of today. I know by the time we probably air this out, he'll probably have his post up and everything, but we just wanted to wish him like, hey, great race, good job, congratulations. But if y'all didn't see, like really cool things came out of London this morning. The men broke sub 2 in the marathon. And so they set that world record. And then our female winner, she broke the women's world record as well. And then there were also some Guinness World Records that were broken this morning as well. There was a guy who carried a mini fridge on his back the entire race. He did it for dementia. Like I think his cause that he was raising money for was for dementia. And like I saw some clips of it, but he kind of also, I believe, set a Guinness World Record too for carrying the mini fridge the entire way. And it was funny, like after he finished the race, he still was wearing it. Like he didn't take it off as soon as he was done. Like he was walking to, I believe, his tent where like the foundation he ran for was open, and he still had it on his back with like his medal on. But there were some and then one other record that was set this morning, it was a PR for Cynthia El Rivo. She PR'd and she PR'd in 3:21, which is absolutely incredible. So she was super speedy on that. But yeah, like a lot of cool things came out of London this morning.
One of my run partners, she's like, yeah, I'm going to go run London next year. I got in. And she's like, Becky, you should just come and do it. And I was like, I don't know. April's like a pretty busy time at school, but I don't know. Maybe I'll just pop over the pond to just run a marathon and come on back. Like, okay, sure. Like, you can't say that to a teacher and be like, yeah, let's just go at the end of the year when so many things are happening. But I mean, it would be pretty cool to go run a marathon, like just even in another state. Like
Yeah.
I like kind of did that. Like I ran Chicago while I was living in Florida, but I signed up for it before I moved. But that would be so cool.
It's a lot like traveling for a race. There's a lot of like
Yes.
things you have to think about. So I've traveled for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 races, definitely 4 fulls out of state. The fifth one out of state, though, was a half. But yeah, traveling out of state is definitely like there's a lot of logistics that go into it. One of our friends, he ran Big Sur today as well. And so he ran that this morning and we were like texting in our group message. And I was like, hey, good job. Congratulations. And he was just like, I'm never doing that again. He's like, that was horrible. And he was definitely tough on himself. But if y'all know anything about Big Sur, that course is really tough. It's gorgeous and it's known for its scenery. But part of that is like you have no crowd support. Um, there's the course is hilly. Like he sent us his elevation map in our group message at one point, and it's like this, and then it shot up and went down. I was like, oh, like it's almost like he went up like a really steep incline and then down. And he said he started cramping around mile 13 and struggled with like hydration. But I told him, I was like, dude, you need to be proud of it. He finished in 4:01. Like, yes. Yeah, I know. You're like, "What the heck? That's still impressive and fast." And I told him, I said, "That's a great time. Like, you should be proud of it." But, we're always tougher on ourselves. But, yeah, there was a lot of racing going on today and, like, people I knew that were racing. We even had, 2 half marathons in our area today. I didn't care to race. Like, I've done both of those races, so I didn't care to compete. But, yeah, there was one in, like, North Houston, and then there was one in Galveston today. So, yeah, there was just a
I
lot
mean,
of racing going on today.
just in general, I mean, we just had Boston Marathon. Um, my cousin, well, it's my mom's cousin, but he's younger because her uncle was about her age. So there's a big age gap between my grandpa and his youngest brother. So he's like 3 years older than me, but it's my mom's cousin. He finished in 2 hours and 48 minutes. I'm like, dang. Like that's his sister who has ran many, many marathons. Like she has ran Boston. She like has never even ran it that fast. She was like, "Are you kidding me?" But he is like Mr. Adventurer. Like he is always out like on the slopes and like surfing. Like that's just he's not married, doesn't have kids. Like that's his go-to. And then one of Oliver's on his team, one of the moms, she's a big runner and she ran Boston. I don't can't even tell you how many she's ran. I know it wasn't her first. So she finished her I don't know how many, but she's ran it quite a bit of times. So lots of races right now. It's
Mhm.
so inspiring. And then I'm like, oh, it's also daunting.
Yeah, I can understand that. it's probably the wrong time to start training, but I'm training starting right after the 4th of July for my next marathon. I mean, like, it can't be helped. The marathon's in November. Like,
And
You're
I
where
have
is
waiting
to
as
the one?
long as you can.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's the Space Coast Marathon, so it's gonna be on the east side of Florida, right where Kennedy Space Center is.
Oh, okay.
Um, so that's yeah, there's a half and a full. So I said, "Well, I wanna do another marathon, and I wanna do it the year I turn 40." So if I don't do it in November, then the the year's gonna be over. Kinda pushing off that training cycle
No, it'll be so hot for you at that
because it's
point.
daunting.
Oh, it's
I
hot.
know, I
Yeah.
know, I know, but it'll be lighter mileage in July, and then it'll ramp up, like, in August, and then the bigger miles will be in September and October. So it's still warm, but I'm just gonna have to wake up early and do it before
Mhm.
sunrise. And, if I run around my house, then I can, like, run however many miles out and back and grab more water and out and back. And so we'll see. We'll see. That'll be that'll be an interesting training cycle. Right now it feels like really daunting because it's so busy, just like in general. And so my mental exhaustion is big right now. Every night's busy, every day's busy. I was telling people this morning at church how I'm like, okay, we have 22 days left of school. And in May, let me just tell you what's happening. We have 5 birthdays to celebrate because we have summer birthdays too. We have a muffins with moms, we have a donuts with dads, we have a splash pad day, we have a water slide day, we have our end of the year performance. Like all these things are happening, which is going to make everything go by really quickly. And we have our ABC countdown that we've already started, but like something every day for that too. So it's going to go by quickly, but it's a lot to prepare for. And remember, plus baseball and our play is coming up in 2 weeks. My mom's coming into town for that. Like, it's just like, how many more things can I do? But I'm still like, I'm going to wake up early and I'm going to run. Like, that is a non negotiable. That I cannot get rid of. But all these things, I just feel like it'll end. I know it'll end. It will. And I'm traveling up to Chicago Memorial Day weekend. So, like, yeah, well, yeah. I have to go for this bridal shower and to pick up
Yeah.
those clothes that I got when I was in Chicago last week. So I was like, I don't know, maybe I'll bring a kid with me or maybe not. I don't know. Like, I think it might be worth it to bring a kid with, like, worth the money to bring a kid with and just be like, okay, mom, here's a child. Spend some quality time and I'll go to run and I'll go to the bridal shower and I don't know. It's like, how do I keep I like said I told my father-in-law, I said I just need like a day off to reset everything. Like I just need like a catch up day, like an admin day just to catch up on emails, on text messages, like on things like that. I just feel like I need to catch up on life. On
For sure.
Thursday night, speaking of things that we've done every day, Carson went to, well, we took Carson to his first concert. And I like a couple of things. One, the concert was incredible, like the best concert I've ever been to. Um, but it was also Carson's first concert. So I was like looking at him, but like wanting to focus on the concert, but I wanted to like watch him have his experience. I was like, I can't stop looking at him and just like being so excited. But we also
Yeah.
got home at midnight. And then, yeah. And I was like, well, I should have taken a half day or something because I need to catch up on things. And I guess I'm now turning into a botanist because we have our school garden that student council has done. And we had an Earth Day event on Friday night. So not only did we have Earth Day and I was doing stuff for student council, but we also had a theater like performance that night too. I try to like think, could I not be involved? Do you ever like see those reels on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever, where it's like, spend my afternoon with me? And I'm like,
Mhm.
how are these people leaving at contract time every single day? Like, are you not involved with anything at school? Am I
Because
out
they
of
don't say
line?
yes to they don't say yes to anything.
And I guess
Right.
I say yes to everything. But I'm like, but how are you not involved in a committee or a club or like, and I realize these people are making money off of social media and they're probably even making more money off of social media than they are with teaching, which I guess you can say no to things because you don't need any extra money. But I'm like, sure, I would love to leave at contract time, but like, how do you get anything done? How do, how do you do that? And they're time stamping their night until they go to sleep. Like,
I bet
I
I
mean,
know one of the ones you're talking about too, because I follow her right now. And I've been seeing her little like, she's like, my 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. before work.
yeah, Miss
Brandy
Brandy
Reagan.
Reagan. Yes. 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 And she's training to be a bodybuilder.
She's adorable. Like, I love just watching her little. So, Brandy, if you watch us or whatever, we enjoy your TikToks and your reels every day.
Huh? Oh my gosh. Oh, watch her multiple times a day because
Now
she's
I have to
always
look her up
posting.
because I don't think it's Instagram or
She's on
She's on
all
both.
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
She is a 7th grade science teacher. It's Miss
Brandy?
Brandy Reagan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of teacher influencers that I follow, that are
I've
also
been
into
enjoying
fitness.
her right now, though.
Yeah. Mhm.
I
Yeah.
don't know if maybe just because like, I relate to the early mornings and, like, she was junior high like me, maybe that's why, I don't know. Or, like, the fitness thing because I get getting up and trying to get the workout in and then but no,
Well, she's
I've been
oh,
enjoying hers a
mhm.
lot. There's others that I'm like, "Oh."
The other one I watch pretty often, is Katie Johnson. She's like, her
I've
handle is Miss Johnson.
Here's my thing though. If I tried to video record myself all day long, I would never get anything done because I would be too focused on trying to make reels that I wouldn't be productive. Would take me so much longer to get anything done because I'd be like, oh, I have to record it. But if you're getting paid for
well,
it, you
that
do
and
it
then, like,
enough,
knowing
then
how to get the camera situated, like, I know there would be times where I'm, like, setting up the camera, walking out, like so I think it was a year ago, I did a day in the life, but I did it, like, featuring, Hoka shoes. And it was a testing day. And so I had to be, like, very adamant about, like, how I filmed, where I filmed, and, like, remembering it. And I haven't done one in a really long time. Actually, I haven't done one with this new role because I don't know. Like, I have to be really careful, which speaking of work, big news. They announced our lone finalists for superintendent. And so it was announced Tuesday night. And so I'll have a new superintendent come like the end of May because we have to have a 21-day waiting period. Um, but come the end of May, I'll have a new superintendent. So I'm actually really excited for her. She's super impressive. Um, she's been in tons of districts in our area. So, like, I feel like she has a good understanding of a good variety of students and like needs. Um, what was interesting though is that we had people on our school board that were not excited about her and were not willing to support her. And I'm not going to go into details here just because I don't want to like open that box because it was not good. Um, but I didn't like how they responded because I felt like we already struggle with division of like East versus West side and like differences of like socioeconomic and different needs on those sides of the district. And I felt like their response to our new superintendent kind of just made that wedge bigger and more prominent. So it was just that was a little like disappointing, but I'm excited for her. I think she's going to do great. But yeah, I will have a new big boss come the end of May.
But who hires? Like, who makes the decision to hire the superintendent? I thought it was the
So
board.
it is the board. We have a board of 7 people,
Mhm.
and 2 of the 7 people and so they named her, and they said, "We are gonna nominate" her name's Dr. Rhonda Mason. They said, "We're gonna nominate Dr. Rhonda Mason." And so they nominated her, and then the board I guess you can give opinions or thoughts or whatever, and 2 board members came out and said some things that I don't necessarily agree with, but, they're entitled to their opinion. Um, and then after them 2 kind of stating they didn't support it, 4 others came out and said, "No, we do support her. We do think she's a good choice." So they were outnumbered and outvoted. Um, but initially they hired this like third party to come in and like start the interview process. And so they started the interview process, but our board is the one who kind of like finished it and said, okay, based off of, and I think there was like 48 total applicants and they brought it down to like their top 8. And out of the top 8, they named her. So, but no, it made for a very interesting week. Cause that was kind of the hot topic of the entire week. And I don't know. I'm excited. I think it's going to be good for us. But I mean, some people just don't really like change and don't handle change well. So I know that'll be interesting over the next few months as well.
so speaking of change, we were told on Friday. So first of all, we started all of our testing this past week. And on Friday, we were like talking data and had our like team meeting, and our boss comes in and she's like, I need to pull fourth grade for a few minutes before the bell rings. Like, okay. And so when enough time, she's like, okay, I need to, like, we weren't done in our meeting, but she's like, I'm pulling them. So we went, and she's like, well, I just want you guys to know this ahead of time, but our numbers are not looking great. Like, we basically would have to gain, I think she said like 23 new students, or at least 23 more enrollments for us to keep 4 sections of fourth grade. Yes. So next year we have to go down to 3, which means one of us is going to have to switch. So I'm really curious on how that's going to play out, because our male teacher, like, I just straight up asked him. He didn't say anything in the morning, but after school was like, so are you planning like on leaving? Because I know you've talked about it, because he's working on getting his admin license. Like, he's been in classes. He's like, yeah, I need to just say something to her because, you know, I have been, putting that out there, and I've had her write me a letter of recommendation, and I don't want her to switch me and then and then I leave, or switch one of you guys and then I leave. And then another teacher who is in 3rd grade sent an email out the end of the day, Friday, saying that she is leaving. So that opens up a 3rd grade spot, which we're hiring a 5th grade spot. So it'd either be a shift to 5th grade, then we hire somebody for 3rd probably, or shift to 3rd and then hire the 5th. I don't know what's going to play out, but one of us is going to have to move. But I don't know if one of us will end up volunteering or just being told, hey, you're moving. So, but it will be weird, because if one of us moves to 3rd grade, that's Oliver's grade next year. So, like, that's his group of kiddos coming into 3rd grade. But
Me personally, on my preference sheet, I like all the way back in January, I said, I cannot go to 4th grade because Carson's going to be in 4th grade next year. I said, I can't do that. I cannot be in the same grade as my kid because data is being discussed and I know his friends, and I don't want to hear my kid's data being like, I know it's going to be, but I don't want to hear my kid's data being discussed. It's just like, it's one of those things that I can't have him in rooms with teachers that I'm friends with. And I have a teacher who's in 4th grade who I'm friends with, and we've gone on vacation together and like things like that. And like, I feel like as a parent, you could say I cannot go to 3rd grade because it's just too close.
But then when he comes to 4th grade, I'm not going to necessarily want to switch though, because I don't think I want
Fair
to. I mean,
point.
I'm probably not going to switch grades just because he's in the grade level. I just definitely won't have him. But I see your point. Like, it is strange. It will be strange having like all of his friends, because we switch. I don't know how that'll work, because we switch for math. Like, we do the flex grouping. So I don't know, because eventually I'm going to have his friends
Mhm.
probably at some point. But I'm like you, like for kindergarten, like I'll put Hayes in the same teacher Oliver had, because like my best friend teaches kindergarten, and we're just too close for me to have him in that room, because they're just too close. So
Yeah, I
I
guess
don't
there
know.
is the caveat. Tyler goes to pre-K next year, but I'm not moving grades when he comes to kindergarten. But the relationship on my team is different than it was like on my 5th grade
Yeah.
team, and my relationship with him is a lot different than my relationship with Carson. I don't know if that's fair to say, but it's what it is. Tyler's
Yeah.
my spirit animal, and Carson is my husband's spirit animal. Like that's
I could see
just
that.
that's that's just how it is. Yes. Yes. But I don't know. That'd be interesting. Did your principal put out like who's teaching what next year, or is that like still to
No.
come?
I mean, everybody still stays in their grade unless somebody asks to be moved, or the principal strongly feels
Mm.
like somebody needs to be moved. Then she will address it.
Mhm.
So, I mean, like right now, it'll basically be one
Mhm.
of us has to volunteer to move or she will decide, is what it'll come down to. Unless there's an interest in
Mhm.
somebody else in the building that wants to change. Because I asked, I said, so is anybody leaving that we know of? Because I know we hired fifth grade, and this was prior to the third grade position being opened up. Because this was before she had sent out her email or said anything. Our boss did not even know that she was leaving that morning until later in the day, I think.
Mm.
So, because I was like, so like, are we going to be able to stay in the building? Like, would it mean that one of us moves to fifth and that new hire doesn't get hired? Like, I'm speaking because I got my kids here. Like, if it means that one of us has to move to a different school, like that affects me and my other coworker who both have kids in the building. But she like reassured us, like, no, you guys would take precedent over like a new hire coming in or shifting. So I don't know. It'll be really interesting to see how it all plays out.
I try to stay in my own lane at school, but what's interesting, and because we haven't heard who's going to be in what position next year, and I don't talk to anyone, but my intern that I had in the fall, who's doing her final internship in third grade this semester, she came to when she was at the baseball fields yesterday, so I saw her, and she was like, "I think a lot of things are going to get shaken up." I was like, "How do you know?" I, she's like, "Well, my team likes to talk a lot, so I just sit there and I listen." And I was like, "Okay, so if I need information, I guess I'm going to you because I don't talk to anyone."
There's always that one or two teachers who know all the things.
Yeah, yeah, and word spreads so fast,
Yes, it
so
Mhm.
does.
fast. But my principal likes the way that I sing all the time in class, and we just had Bring Your Kid to Work Day on Thursday, and um, she told her daughter who came to work with her, she's like, her daughter said she wanted to visit kindergarten. And she's like, okay, there is this one teacher who just sings all the time. And so, like, maybe you can go visit her. 11 o'clock, 11:05, we end lunch. And every time we end, we like get him in the hall and we sing our lineup song every single time. And I'm sure people are so sick of it. But my principal and her daughter come around the corner as I'm singing, and she's like, "Okay, there you go. There's the teacher I was talking about." But, she said she's not moving me, so, praise because I need to be
Good.
I need to be in kindergarten again. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you would think if you
So
just
happy with it.
switched there, they wouldn't want to switch you again.
Oh, no, in my last district, this poor girl, she worked in the district for 5 years. Um, she before she got pregnant, and then she had, like, such a high-risk pregnancy, ended up being on bed rest, the whole deal. But in her 5 years at school, she not only taught a different grade every year, but they moved her school. We only had 3 elementary schools. They moved her school to school to school to school, back and forth every single year, different grade level, different school, like every year. So I don't know why they had anything against her. I thought she was the sweetest thing, but you just never know
Mhm.
sometimes what principals are thinking or what they're being pressured to do, or I don't know, all those politics in there, but I'll stop talking about that because that could get really like
I
that.
know. It's
Yeah.
mm.
Yeah.
Anyways, we have lots of change. And I think it's just like that time of year where it's just like people are shifting and figuring out what they want to do, and you have to let your principals know, and then principals have to decide, okay, where do I want people to be and where's the shifting? And it's just every year this happens, and I know like some years I'm more shocked than others of like, oh my gosh, and then others I'm like, okay, here we go again. And I always joke it's a metaphorical fruit basket that gets flipped over or dumped over every year, and it usually starts in about March. And then you just watch and see how things fall. And then some years, like last year, our change went well into July, like way into July and August, which that never happens. Um, yeah. So I'm hoping this year, like even though we're getting a new superintendent, there's not too much. I don't think a lot of people wanna move because of that. Like, "Hey, let's just kinda see." I could be wrong. They announced her last week. I could start hearing some different information this week. Who knows? Like, there could be other announcements of, "Oh, this person's leaving, this person," it to each their own. But I just think that's the season we're in, and we're gonna see a lot of it the next, like, 4 to 5 weeks.
'Cause there's teachers who
Oof.
hold out until the very end to say if they're leaving.
Mhm.
Sometimes it happens over the summer, and you don't know until right before school starts, which I can't even foresee. Like, we drop down to 3 sections next year. I feel like we're gonna have to bump up to 4 again the following year because Oliver's group of kids in 2nd grade, there are so many behaviors, like, that is a rough group of kids that I cannot even fathom only having 3 sections with that group. But again, if our district is solely just basing it on numbers and not behaviors, like, oh, that'll be a rough. Maybe that's the year that I say, I want to move because I don't want to teach the same grade level as my son. That sounds like a really good plan. I'll I'll hold that in my back pocket for the next year.
Yeah, yeah. I have felt strongly about that with Carson, but I don't know. It's one of those juggling games.
As we talk about behavior with my son's class, he got in trouble for the first time this week. And I was going to lunch and I see our the person that takes care of all of our behaviors that gets called. She's marching down with this group of 2nd graders. And I look down at one of Oliver's like best friends. I'm like, you in trouble? He's like, yes, and so is Oliver. I'm like, what? Because Oliver wasn't in the line. She's like, yeah, he has to take some kid somewhere and then he's coming down. I'm like, okay. I'm like, so what happened? So I waited there outside of because it's right by our teacher's lounge where we eat lunch. So I like waited there until Oliver marches down. And I'm like, what happened? He's like, well, he wasn't, and he didn't even look upset. He said the girls were asking the boys to chase them. And so they did. And then the boys started kicking them. And some of them got kicked into privates. And the boys were grabbing the girls, trying to take them into the Gaga pit. So apparently that whole group of them, there was at least 5 and more, but the girls were pulled in too. They had to write down what happened. To me, it seemed like horseplay that just ramped up their 2nd graders. It wasn't like a brawl, "Oh, I'm mad at you and I punched you." Like, that would be very different, or using curse words or whatever. I'm like, "Okay." So they were chasing the girls and the girls like, I'm not gonna be upset about that. Like, was that a great choice? No. But to me, it didn't seem like an escalated problem to be truly upset with him about. And so at the end of the day, then I found out because my principal emailed me and said, hey, can we touch base after school? Because she called all the parents. So she was just going to touch base with me. There's that fine line of me working there and being a parent. So I waited because she was in a meeting after school. So school got out at 3. I waited till like 3:45 for her to get out. And I was like, hey, you wanted to touch base? And she's like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm so sorry. Because I'm like, I have a right for you to have a conversation with me, just like you did with all the other parents that you called. Because you didn't call my husband, which thank goodness he was driving out of town for work that day. And she explained it to me, and I get it. But they decided to pull the kids, that whole group of kids, and kept them in the rest of the day. They had their 2nd grade performance at school that day. They were performing in the afternoon for 1st grade and 3rd grade. They kept that whole group of kids, so they missed their show. They did not get to perform and made the decision to pull them for recess the next day, which, okay, that makes sense. Pull them from recess. It was a recess incident. Pull them from recess the next day.
Mhm.
I was not thrilled with the fact that they pulled him from the show. But I also was like, I have to watch what I say because I work here. Yes, I could put my mom hat on, but she's like, I just felt like because we're trying to, draw this line and we keep saying that if it's a physical contact, then they're removed. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, but these are 2nd graders and it wasn't like a fight. It was, I was chasing the girls started kicking because it was like, it was horseplay that got ramped up.
Mhm.
The same day, another kid pushed a kid out of anger and nothing happened to that kid. And so I'm like, I understand what you're trying to say by, well, we need to stick by our, but then you're not consistent. And this is a group of second graders, and it was their show that day. She's like, and then she also said, like, well, I was worried about sending them back to the same room. I don't know. I just wanted to share that with you guys. And am I being like, okay, I'm the mom, so I'm thinking it's unfair? Because the one little boy who's friends with Oliver, the night of his show, because he at least still got to perform at night, comes and sits to me. She's like, "So I hear our boys are a bunch of troublemakers." I'm like, "Yeah, what's up with that?" And they were on the same page with me and felt like it was ridiculous. She's like, "And he was so nervous for the show, and he didn't even get to practice up there today." So I don't know. For what it's worth, I told Oliver, "I'm not upset with you."
Well, it was an isolated incident. I
Yeah.
could see if it was like, okay, this is the second time or
Mhm.
the third time that they have been warned, they have been gotten in trouble, they've had repercussions. And the recess thing, for sure, yes, keep them out of
Yeah.
recess for
Mhm.
the next day, whatever. But like, this is a once in a year thing or whatever. It's like the only time in second grade that you're going to get to perform for your peers. And I think that's a pretty special thing. And I think there should have just looked at that isolated incident and
Mhm.
be like, listen, this is going to be your consequence. Like, make sure to keep it in line during the performance.
Yeah.
I feel like
Mhm.
that's unfair.
Yeah. Because at least 3 of those
Yeah.
kids I know are a good group of kids, 3 or 4 of them who've never gotten in trouble, ever. So I'm like, "Okay, you got in trouble at school. Am I happy about it? No." And I told him, I said, "You made a choice. Just because your friends were running and chasing them did not mean you had to. Like, you did make that choice. So there are consequences, you know, but I wanted to play with, I understand that, but you still made a choice, right?" So I still wanted to get through to him that you have a choice that you can make and it wasn't okay to do. Do I think the consequences were extreme? Yes. Am I extremely mad at you? No. If you would have done this, this, and this, that would be a different story. But I also didn't want him to think like, okay, like it's not a big deal that I was in trouble because yeah, I'm not happy about that. But I just thought it was a little extreme. The consequences didn't match.
I wonder if there was something else that maybe they had heard of that went on in the district. A similar so why I'm saying this is I have seen APs and principals make decisions based off of, and they shouldn't, like you said, it should be the incident itself, but maybe they had, like, dealt with something else similar and they just didn't, I don't wanna say make an example, but make an example, or they didn't want something to escalate further, and so they said, "Let's just give them." But I don't agree with the taking them out of that, like, you shouldn't, that's not right. The recess,
Mhm.
yes, but it's like you almost wonder what's going through the admin's head or, like, what's happened or is happening that, teachers aren't aware of that made them make that decision. Because 'cause I'm just wondering, I've seen stuff like this happen before too, and being in the IC role, you get to see more of an admin perspective, and there's been times where I'm like, "Well, that," and, I don't always have to agree with everything, but I'll just, like, keep my mouth shut, right? Because 'Cause they're not
Mhm.
my kids, it's, I'm just watching it happen, but I'm almost wondering if something like that, it
Yeah.
just, I don't think it's right, and they shouldn't have been removed from that at all, but I'm wondering what else could have been going on for them to make that decision, which they shouldn't, but I've seen that happen before, where, like, an admin will go based off of something they heard at another campus or another situation, and they didn't wanna, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and also depending on who's addressing the situation, is it the principal? Is it the assistant principal? Is it this person making the decision? Depending on who's addressing it, the consequences
Mhm.
are different.
Are
So
different.
that's
Mhm.
another factor. I don't know. Just the consistency is not there, which is frustrating. As a teacher, I see kids that do worse things and don't have that kind of consequence. One of my coworkers said her daughter, who's in second grade with Oliver, another boy in class threatened to kill her and was sent right back to the room. Nothing happened. And I'm like, how does that even make sense? So, like, that's where I get frustrated. I think as a parent, I would be naive to those things, but as a teacher, I'm not because I know and hear all the other discipline issues that happen in the building. So I think that's what is more frustrating.
Yeah. I just like think how hard they worked for that
Mhm.
performance. And if they were being jerks like during practice or during the music
Uh,
class, whatever it was for,
it's
then that
unfair to
would
the
have been
music
an
teacher.
appropriate thing. Now they don't get to do I mean, yeah, there was the nighttime performance, but there is something about doing it
Yeah.
for your peers. I don't know. Like just we do our theater performances for the students as well. And it's a you're now a leader in the school because now you've done this and now those first graders are looking forward to doing it next year and like it just was like third graders are like, yeah, I did that last year, whatever. It's just I don't know. It's like the morale for the students
Mhm.
in the school too. And
When I
now he's
said
gonna
some of
forever
those,
remember that he didn't get to do the
yeah.
daytime performance.
Mhm.
Well, and
And
I just think some of those kids, they might not have had parents to take them to the evening performance, and this might have been their only time.
mhm, that too.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I don't know if you follow Jerry Brooks, like the
yeah.
principal.
Mhm. Yeah.
So he brought up something. There was a teacher that he was commenting on that made a post about how it's good to have the like award ceremonies during the day. Um, and her stance on it was teachers get paid from this time to this time, and if we come at night, it's not paid, and it's extra time on us. We have our own lives, our own families, our own schedules, whatever after school. And he said those are all good points to make. Yeah, that's true. Contract hours or contract hours. And I personally don't see anything wrong with going to school at night because I feel like it's great for the kids to see you at night, on the weekends, whatever. However, what he said was to your point, Allison, is that what if like a kid cannot come at night? Their parents work second shift or they don't have a car to take them or, whatever the reason might be. But also, you have it during the day because all kids are supposed to be at school during the day. And that is their time to be at school. So for a performance or an award ceremony, they are guaranteed that, other than being sick or whatever, guaranteed that all the kids will be able to show up and support each other at school.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe the kid wasn't going to be able to come at night because they couldn't whatever, and now they've missed their opportunity for their peers to support them at school during the day. Dang, that's an unfortunate circumstance. And they didn't even ask the parents if that was okay with them. Like, I'm not
I mean,
normally
we
like
don't
a
like, what
parent forward situation in this deal, but like that's a big
yeah.
deal. I feel so sad for those kids who are playing at recess.
So, I mean, I get the whole next day at recess, that made sense, but the next day, "So, mom, where do I go for recess? I don't know what to do." I'm like, "Just listen to your teacher." And then the
Yeah.
next day, I'm like, "Hey, have a good day. Make good choices at recess today."
Yeah. There's a lot to weigh in on this, on teacher placement for the next year, on discipline that happens at school, just a lot of things that a lot of opinions can be weighed in on. So if you want to weigh in on these opinions, comment on our episode and message us, email us, let us know. We love to hear from you. And until next week, wait, these memes are going to come this week. Do you know what I'm talking about? The one
Oh,
meme that comes
yes. It's
at
gonna
the end of
be
April.
May.
It's gonna be
Gonna be
May.
May.
So until next time, when we meet again in May, we'll catch you then.
Thanks for sipping and sharing a moment with us today. We can't wait to keep showing up with you each week. Messy, caffeinated, and real.
And if you like what you heard, we'd be so grateful if you'd follow, subscribe, or share this with your teacher bestie, mom group chat, or training partner, or all three. It helps more people find our little corner of chaos and connection.
Make sure to hit follow so you don't miss next week's episode. And don't forget to connect with us on Instagram at Espresso Yourself Podcast. Tell us what resonated, share your own stories, what topics you want us to cover, or just come say hi.
Until next time, keep showing up.
Keep giving yourself grace.
And espresso yourself.
One
sip at a time.
time.